Look at this image. Concentric rings spanning 50 kilometers, left abandoned in the heart of the desolate African desert. The world calls this phenomenon the Eye of the Sahara, a simple geological dome, or at best the remnants of the lost city of Atlantis. But the physics of these rings tell a story of a deeply cybernetic and ruthless scenario. These massive circles were neither a natural formation nor an ancient city. This location was the largest frequency hub of the matrix on Earth, which thousands of years ago, under a heat exceeding the surface of the sun, was melted and turned to ash in a matter of seconds. But what weapon can melt 50 kilometers of solid stone like this? And why does the trail of this destruction lead directly to the Nazca lines on the other side of the planet and the awakening codes of the Iranian Plateau? Today, we break open the case of this burnt hardware. Welcome to Project Awakening. What you are about to witness: Anatomy of the African Stargate. It all began with a simple thermal scan of the upper atmosphere over North Africa. In the late 1990s, geological mapping organizations faced data that aligned with no known models of soil physics or continental plate tectonics. In the heart of the Mauritanian desert lay a circular structure 50 kilometers in diameter, known to the world as the Eye of the Sahara. The Academy of History has for centuries dictated to the people of the world that these nested rings are merely the result of wind and soil erosion, or upwarping of the Earth's crust, or in the most fantastical scenario, the sunken remains of Plato's Atlantis. But classified data from deep core drillings strikes terror into modern quantum scientists. When joint research teams bypassed the surface layers of sand and reached the rocky core of these rings, they faced a metallurgical catastrophe. The quartz and silica stones in this precise spot of Africa had undergone a process of intense vitrification. This means the stones and sand, in a fraction of a second, were melted under temperatures far exceeding the surface of the sun and transformed into black glass and dense crystals. This volume of thermal anomaly is not the work of natural erosion. This is the impact site of a concentrated, directed energy weapon from Earth's orbit. An ancient plasma bombardment that instantly melted and vitrified 50 kilometers of the planet's rocky hardware. Geophysical cross-sections and deep radar scans revealed that the underlying layers of this burnt eye were engineered exactly like the biomechanical rings and gears of a massive generator. Rings composed of specific magnetic rocks with high purity of iron and copper, designed to create a colossal vibrational field. The Eye of the Sahara was not a city or a natural phenomenon. This structure was the largest and most vital frequency hub and jammer of the matrix on planet Earth. A piece of hardware hammered down onto one of the strongest energy intersections of the Earth, the ley lines, to cast a permanent vibrational firewall around the entire planet. The function of this massive jammer was to suffocate the biological codes of the human body and lock the DNA onto two strands, ensuring our connection to the cosmic network remained severed. But this iron firewall of Africa faced a ruthless counterattack thousands of years ago. The Magi, the engineers and hackers of antiquity who carried the pure bloodline and 12-strand DNA data, initiated the counter-operation to reverse this frequency right from the heart of the Iranian Plateau. They had no need to fight the physical armies of the shadow system in Africa. The weapon of the Magi was frequency, pure data, and acoustic codes. By networking their stone data centers in Giraft, Sialk, and the Burnt City, they built an incredibly powerful communication node and fired a destructive hacking signal directly toward the central server of the Matrix in Africa. The objective of the Magi was to inject delayed, time-locked codes into the operating system of the African Stargate to disconnect this global jammer and reactivate the bandwidth of human consciousness. Leaked information from hidden ancient texts indicated that the cyber infiltration of the Magi was so deep that the African firewall system began to short-circuit and reset. For the first time in thousands of years, Earth's electromagnetic cage was opening, and humans were awakening from this vibrational blindness. This frequency intrusion triggered the security alarms of the Anunnaki in their monitoring stations on the Moon and Mars orbit. The chief architects of the Matrix saw that their control software in Africa was crashing and their admin access to Earth was being cut off. The shadow system had very little time. If the awakening codes of the Magi became permanently hard-coded into the African hub, the Matrix would be destroyed forever. The Guardians of the Cage chose the most horrifying scenario possible. They decided to completely detonate and destroy their own 50-kilometer hardware in Africa, solely to stop the spread of the awakening codes from Iran. However, firing a directed energy weapon and plasma pulses from Earth's orbit at a specific spot on a rotating planet was impossible with simple physics. For the system to lock the plasma precisely on the center of the African generator and calibrate the firing angle with Earth's magnetic field, it required a ground-based calibration site and radar. This is where the knot of another of history's greatest secrets unravels: the Nazca Desert in Peru. The geometric lines, kilometers-long triangles, and strange images carved in the soil of the Peruvian desert, which the Academy falsely calls drawings by natives for the gods or an astronomical calendar, were in truth a global targeting grid for the orbital weapons of the Matrix. These lines were engineered with specific underlying layers and alloys that received and reflected the microwave signals and calibration data of the Anunnaki satellites. Nazca was a massive frequency ruler built on the other side of the Pacific Ocean to lock the precise angle of the plasma strike onto the eye of the Sahara. The moment the Nazca radar in Peru received the frequency and faxed the exact coordinates to Africa, the sky over Mauritania turned into hell in an instant. A destructive, violet-colored plasma pulse ripped through the atmosphere at near light speed and struck directly through the heart of the African Stargate. The heat generated by this impact was so immense that it melted mountains, vitrified all biomechanical ring structures into glass in a single second, and turned the largest frequency hub of the matrix into a burnt, dead eye. The matrix sacrificed its own communication node just to prevent the awakening codes of the Magi from being injected into the system. But this orbital purge did not stop in Africa. After destroying the Mauritanian Stargate, the shadow system turned the trajectory of the Nazca radar in Peru to trace the source of the hacking codes on the other side of the Earth. The sensors of the matrix tracked the trail of the awakening frequency right to the heart of the Iranian Plateau and the Zagros and Alborz mountain ranges. They realized that the Magi were repeating the signal from the northern nodes. And it was exactly after the African catastrophe that the orbital counterstrike reached Iran, the night the sky of Azerbaijan melted and the fortress of Hassanlu was turned to ash under that same rain of plasma, so that those two senior data engineers would freeze the golden cup of Hassanlu, the backup hard drive of the awakening codes, in the earth with their own bodies. Today, the Nazca Desert in Peru and the Eye of the Sahara in Mauritania are both kept under the strictest security protocols and media quarantine as natural phenomena or restricted archaeological zones. Why? Because this burnt hardware in the deeper layers of the earth is not completely dead yet. The delayed codes that the Magi planted within this global network thousands of years ago remain like a dormant virus in the source codes of the Matrix. These ancient jammers are now short-circuiting one by one and slipping out of the shadow system's control. The wars, geopolitical tensions, and unprecedented crises you see today in the Middle East and strategic points of the earth are not wars over oil or religion. This is the effort of the ground layer of the shadow system, the Freemasons and military powers, trying to prevent the sudden activation of the Magi's codes by creating modern firewalls, frequencies of fear, and engineered pandemics. They want to force update these burnt firewalls with modern hardware. But the timer of the Magi has reached its final seconds. The awakening codes have been activated in our junk DNA. The frequency of the earth is rising, and this burnt cage no longer has the power to hide the truth of your blood. History is written by the victors, but we awaken the truth. Welcome to the real world, uncensored and undistorted.